Hi Clyde, it's nice to reconnect with you on Facebook, and I'm glad you asked for a gift because I wanted to give you a reading anyway, and this gives me a great opportunity to do it this way. So I have my computer here in front of me and I have your chart up, and I'm just looking at a few things. You know, I have a new astrology called Sunology where it's my own system that instead of looking at signs, I look at degrees, which gives a lot more detail about the person and is more personality based from a creative standpoint. So what I call signs are called sun numbers, and you're sun number 5, and it is a Taurus sun number as well as being in the sign of Taurus. So it's related to the last 12 degrees of Taurus. Taurus has a fixity about it. It's an earth sign, so it's very grounded. It is there's a love of beauty and a love of nature with Taurus. The one nice thing about your chart is that you balance all of this groundedness with your Mercury in Aries at the 27th degree. So the 27th is related to Aquarius, so there is the New Age thought and the idea of ideals and goals and community. So that lifts you in the area that the Taurus pretty much pulls you down. And in fact, your sun number, the 5, I think is one of the very hardest sun numbers there is. It wants to lift, it wants to pull out of the earth realm, but it is still very firmly grounded. Like some of the symbols associated with the 5 are a massive rocky shore. Let me pull up a few more. So you really see that groundedness that has slow change over time, but there's another one that refers to the earth. I'm pulling it up. Rock formations on the edge of a precipice. So again, you get that groundedness that has a bit of an edge to it. I think that edge also comes in with the Mercury in an Aquarian degree, that there's a little bit of progressiveness, or quite a bit of progressiveness involved with it, even though it's not really a progressive number. So when I look at your moon, it is, let's see, at a 28. Okay, that's funny because we got some connections in our chart, but the 28 is where my moon is too, and it's really a new agey kind of place. It's quite progressive as well. The moon represents how you are, like on a day-to-day basis. And it's the cusp. It's the cusp number between Aquarius and Pisces. So there's a sensitivity again. See a lot of sensitivity in your chart, and being tested, and trying to be progressive, or just actually being naturally progressive. If you meditate, that would help a lot. The moon at 28 isn't in the most secure spot, and the moon does like to be secure. So it's like, you know, it's interesting because the moon is also the mother, and it's how you see women. So there's some insecurity there, but at the same time it's very grounded. And if you feel like there's psychological issues, definitely came from her. There's the bright side. So let's see, if I look at your cycles, I look at two different main cycles, the 30-month and the 30-year. Your 30-month cycle is very interesting. It's currently at a 5. I'll show you something in the cycles. I've got this little sheet here, and here we start on this side. This is the bottom of the cycle. This is the 8. This is 30 different steps. Okay, these are the 30 degrees. But this is the bottom of the cycle. Here's the relationship area of the cycle. Here's the peak of the cycle, and then after it peaks, it starts to fall off, and we release, and then we start a new cycle. So in here, this is where goals are created, and that's your 28 and the 27 I was talking about before over in this area, where you've got the whole previous part of the cycle. You understand all these different points of consciousness, and you're summarizing, and you're seeing things quite clearly because it's a mental area, so the mind's at work here very actively. And it's wrapping up and summarizing, but at the same time, it's releasing all of this part of the cycle and coming upon a new one. So it's making plans for the next part of the cycle. That's personality oriented. But the you've got, I'm just thinking about things, you've got quite a few numbers on the cusp, and when you have numbers on the cusp like that, there's there's challenges in a way, because you have to deal with a bunch of energies. You have both the masculine and the feminine, you're trying to balance those. It's more advanced in a way because you really have to work more consciously to be happy. It's not as easy for you. So you have to put in extra effort and do the work, or otherwise you're not gonna be that happy. So that's just the result of having a lot of cusp numbers. What I wanted to say about the 30-month cycle is that you're down here at a 5 in the 30-month cycle, but the place it is in your chart, it's really coming to an ending, like a 30-year ending, and in 7 months you're throwing off the old cycle and starting a brand new cycle of identity, which is interesting. So in some way you're going to have a new sense of identity that you'll recognize, probably, you know, within the year. And it's really strong because it's a 30-month cycle, but it's really, your 30-month cycle is ending a 30-year cycle. I know that's a little complicated, but in any case, I can tell you that you're going to be finding a new sense of identity in the next 7 to 8 months. It might have to do with relationships because it's opposite the area of relationships. And sometimes we do find ourselves better when we lose a partner or whatever. But there's something new coming up. And then in 16 months, okay, that's in 7 months, in 16 months there's another new start where the 30-month cycle runs into the 30-year cycle point. You're at a 21 in the 30-year cycle, so in that place you're about to peak in 2 more years. That looks like a mental place. Maybe in some way you've been doing some work, some writing, or I know you're a really good writer. So it's in Gemini, all right? And Gemini is the communication and the writing aspects of ourselves and the thinking aspect. In 2 years, that 30-year cycle that's been in there for 21 years is going to be peaking. I don't know what you're going to do. But maybe some kind of important communication about who you are, because it is in the area of self-identity, and at that point, that's the same time. It's funny because you're the second one I've done a reading for, but at the same time, the 30-month cycle is going to end. It's going to understand itself better in 7 months, and then it's going to end in 16 months, hit that 30-month cycle, and something brand new is going to happen, and peaking, all right, in a way that you really are much more out in the public and more know yourself better as well, okay, or maybe it's something about being who you are more in the public, okay, because it is around self-identity and it is around peaking, and whenever the peak happens, that's typically when you are out in the public and making statements about exactly who you are. So if that's a book that's coming out that relates to you and how you see yourself, it should be really interesting. I think that's all with this quick reading that I want to say. If you have any questions, I do hope you'll just write, or you can call me if you want. It's 410-271-4963. Or you can, I'll have my website up and running pretty soon. I'll put that on Facebook when I do. But otherwise, I think that's it. So I hope you are enjoying your cycles, and I hope you like your presents. Okay, talk to you later. Bye.